people! This is my sister Laura.
Hey, this is my sister Jean. We're the Reclamation Sisters, and today we are going to answer some questions from kids and teens about drugs. A few weeks ago on Instagram and Facebook, we posted a prompt asking for people to submit questions from kids and teens, for parents to talk to their kids, and some teens also contacted us directly. So we are going to answer those questions today. I'm going to ask the questions that were submitted, and my sister, who is an addiction counselor, is going to answer them for us. You ready?
I'm always ready.
All right, so our first question is, what is drug addiction? So to me, I guess that means a parent maybe was soliciting, like, hey, did you have any questions about drugs or addiction? And the kid must have been like, what's addiction?
Yeah, what's addiction?
It's really, quite fascinating when you think about it, that they might not have even heard that word. So what is addiction?
So drug addiction specifically is a severe form of a substance use disorder, because you can have a use disorder and not have true addiction issues.
They classify them differently?
Yeah, substance use disorder being like there's a problem.
Okay.
So, like you're using stuff. But addiction being like, an addiction is when the substance of your choice that you're using takes full control and becomes the focus of your life. Okay. It interferes with your daily living, your relationships, your mental health, your impulse control, and it kind of derails your regular life. Remember, we talked about that there are severities of it. So you can have a use disorder that is mild, you can have a use disorder that's moderate, or you can have a severe use disorder.
All right, so another question was, can anyone get addicted?
Well, yes. Anybody can generate in their life a substance use disorder related to any substance that their life and their mind and their body responds to. It could be for you sugar, it could be for me cocaine, and for the next person it could be alcohol, nicotine. Anything becomes a use disorder.
Why can't my dad just quit?
Well, that's a really good question. Your dad can't just quit because, depending on what he's using, just stopping use can make that person have physical withdrawal issues that puts them at risk, and they have to be hospitalized and monitored for just stopping. So they would have to commit to treatment to come off of specific substances.
How do people deal with stress if they don't use?
It's about gaining the understanding that you have to adapt to new coping skills. So in treatment and addressing these underlying issues, we gained skills. You don't have to use to be able to deal with stress. Coping skills allow us to navigate the waters of life. So it's about understanding that you have to learn
What those coping skills are. Why do only some people get addicted?
It depends on a lot of things. Heredity, your genetics, your environment, the substance you're using, related to your brain chemistry specifically. So you could introduce a chemical into my body and it has no response, but it could be introduced into your body and your genetic makeup and your environment, and the way that your brain responds to that chemical immediately makes you like function, feel, cope. It gives you that response that you're looking for. So certain people just have an immediate response to one kind of substance. So it might be a stimulant, or it might be a downer, or it might be a sedative of some kind. So it just depends on what you're using, how you respond to that.
Can I get addicted if I use just once or once in a while?
Yeah, you can, because it goes back to your brain chemistry. You may only do a drug once. Like for me, it was like that first time I was like, that's the magic ticket. But you could do another drug and not have that response at all. That first time you do it can take you to immediate addiction, depending on, again, your heredity, your genetics, your environment, your coping skills, your brain chemistry. That's why you look at, mental health medication, and there's like 27 medicines that do depression, right? But why do we need that many? Because everybody's brain processes and responds to chemicals in a different way.
Are prescription drugs safe since they're legal?
Well, prescription drugs, if given to you by your prescriber to address a medical issue, are appropriate. But if you are if you are supposed to take 2 a day, one every 12 hours, and you're taking 4 every 6 hours, that is a problem. It's abuse when it's not yours or done with the guidelines that it's prescribed for. If you're given a medication and you follow, I take it 2 times a day, every 12 hours, and I follow the instructions, then there's no problem.
How do you know when you need to get help?
So you have to look at signs, like you start to have problems at school, at work, with your parents or your siblings, with your partner. You start to neglect your daily duties. You become unkempt, unhealthy. You let your financial aspect of your life go. You let your emotional aspect go. Like things start to spiral out of control, kind of one thing at a time, like tick, 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 they go off the list. So it starts with being able to be aware there's a problem in this area and then addressing it. But as soon as one or more things get out of control, yeah, you've spiraled out of control. So you have to look at how many things are out of balance. It's about coping and balance.
So our last question is, does relapse mean failure?
Absolutely not. Recovery is a process, and it's about learning. And sometimes we don't learn as fast as our life presents the struggles. So we may not have established the way to navigate whatever stressors come my way. So if I can cope with A, B, and C, but I've not even thought about D, and all of a sudden D, E, and F come, what do I do? So I may not have the coping skills or the sober supports, or I may not be well enough physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically to even deal with that kind of stress. A lot of times people relapse when they lose a friend or a significant other or a loved one to an overdose, and then they start to use again. They don't know how to cope with that sense of grief and mourning and loss, and there's no way to share those experiences without sometimes having shame put on you. Relapse is, for some people, is seen as like this failure. Oh, like you were clean and then you gave up this clean time, but really it's not failure. It's about looking at, okay, well, where is it that I am not strong, and then I need to address those things. And so then you go to treatment and you say, listen, this is what happened, and I didn't navigate it. Like my world blew up, but I blew up with it, instead of saying the storm came, but I withheld the storm. Yeah, relapse is often part of people's recovery story. I mean, couple. Yeah. Just a few.
Couple, 2, 3 times.
So I think it's really important that we remember that questions come up and kids have questions. And especially now that kids are home more and families are engaging more. And the important thing is to have an honest conversation. So if you're struggling to have that honest conversation, or you don't know how to answer a question and you're looking for some feedback, feel free to drop us a line, send us an email, shoot us a direct message on any of the social media platforms, and we'd be glad to reach out. We can help you find the right people in your community to also help you have that conversation with your family. So, an important conversation, absolutely.
Absolutely. Thanks for the questions, and we'll see you next time.
See ya!
Bye! Luna, go ahead. Step over it.
You're going to knock over the microphone. I can't do that. You're going to knock it over.
Can you step over, please?
She's like,
there we go.
No. Look at,
Look at her. She's in a weird position.
Hi, Lovey.
Today we're going to answer questions submitted to us from kids and teens about drugs.
as opposed to any other topic we talk about, like about granola. We're going to talk about granola today because you crunchy like a rainbow.
You won't be able to see the pants though, it's alright.
This is day one. I got to get a couple more days out of these. Oh my God. Can you not lift your arm? Please, ma'am. What is going on?
I don't know. I have never.
Every time you look at my nose runs.
I've never in my life smelled this bad.
Like one of those cats.
Did you see the cat I sent you today? Like this late this afternoon?
Yeah.
Did you?
With the
That was amazing. That was
Ma'am, do you want some yogurt?
It's like he almost died. He just
It's like the one where the cat was like doing the Mariah Carey. I get nothing done when you send me that. And I'm like, I get sucked in. I'm like, play this one.
It is.